Hell's Kitchen Season 22 Episode 11 Review. In my opinion, this episode was essentially more of the same, as the competition becomes more fierce and the weaker chefs run out of people to hide behind. But it'll be my job to unpack all that happened during tonight's episode, and I'll share my thoughts on what might happen during the Black Jacket round. So without any further delay, let's jump right in. The episode kicks off with the remaining chefs returning from last week's elimination, and we see Sammy talking to Lee about how weak Danya and Carmen are. Now for weeks, I've suspected an alliance between Sammy and Lee, but this scene kinda confirmed that, and how the dynamic duo no longer have faith in Carmen's abilities. In my opinion, Carmen is a good chef, but she's just not good enough to make it to the finale, and she continues to show why after every episode. But we get into the challenge for the episode, and it's a blind taste challenge. This challenge is said to separate the chefs from the cooks. What I found interesting about the challenge is that Sammy did the worst for the red team when it came to accurately guessing all the foods that were given to her. And this was despite Sammy calling Danya and Carmen weak moments earlier. But Lee, Danya, Demir, Ryan, and Jonathan truly excelled in this challenge. But it was the blue team that came out on top, and I gotta say that this is one of the strongest blue teams that I've ever seen in Hell's Kitchen history. I can't really remember seeing a blue team that has won this many challenges in quite some time. But we move on to dinner service, where the chefs are introduced to a new menu and they have to cook a 5-course dinner for charity night. The dishes that are on the menu are potato gnocchi, pan-seared scallops, Chilean sea bass, filet mignon, and raspberry souffle. Now the catch with the dinner service is that each chef from their respective team must display their leadership skills as they supervise each course. Now if you've been following Hell's Kitchen for the season, then this particular dinner service ended as you might expect. Demir, Ryan, Lee, and Sammy probably had their best display of leadership for the night, as they truly owned their respective course. Jonathan's leadership was kinda sketchy due to the friction that him and Jason had. But the worst displays of leadership for the episode were Jason, Danya, and Carmen. I hate to be the one to say it, but Jason has absolutely no business being on the show, and I still believe that he's been a plant by production to keep the drama going, because there's no way Gordon would ever hire somebody like him to even be a line cook at one of his restaurants. When it came time for Danya to be a leader during dinner service, she tried to be a superhero instead of properly delegating the responsibilities of cooking to her team. But I will say that Danya at least had a voice. Carmen, on the other hand, lost her voice during her respective service, and she became easily frazzled when the spotlight was on her. Now every time that I post one of these Hell's Kitchen reviews, I read the comments that are left in the comment section, and a lot of people are fans of Carmen, which is perfectly fine. However, in my opinion, Carmen didn't display any leadership skills during this dinner service. And after this episode, it's pretty clear that Lee is the better chef and leader than Carmen is. But at the end of dinner service, Gordon tells both teams to nominate one person who they feel is the worst leader on the team. The red team nominate Danya and the blue team nominate Jason. Now I'm not surprised by these nominations, but if we're strictly going by what happened during this particular episode, then I think that Carmen should have been nominated for elimination over Danya. In my opinion, Danya did a better job in the blind taste challenge, and she showed better leadership skills over Carmen. Now I know that Danya has become somewhat unraveled during the past few weeks, but I thought that Carmen should have been nominated and Jason should have went home tonight. But it was Danya that went home, and Jason lives to fight another day. So the next episode marks the start of the Black Jacket round. 7 chefs remain, but only 5 could get a Black Jacket. I think that my predictions of Sammy, Lee, Demir, Ryan, and Jonathan remain the same from the past few weeks. It's obvious that Jason doesn't stand a chance when it comes to getting a Black Jacket, and if Carmen happens to squeeze herself into the round, I think that she might take Jonathan's place if he happens to have a meltdown as the previews suggest. But once the jackets are handed out, I think that Lee will ultimately make it to the finale, and I think that Jonathan will face off against her. But we shall see, and this marks the end of the review. I would like to know what you all think. Please leave all comments below in the comment section, and I'll be sure to reply to everybody. Until next time, stay tuned and stay safe. Peace.